Most people grow up believing that discipline is a personal trait, something you either have or don't. If you succeed, you're disciplined. If you fail, you're weak. This belief becomes a silent weight. It creates shame, self-judgment, and an endless feeling of something is wrong with me. But what if the entire concept of discipline has been misunderstood? What if the problem was never your character, but the way your brain was designed? Because here is a truth few people are willing to face. The human brain was not built for discipline. It was built for survival, for efficiency, for immediate reward. And when modern life demands focus, consistency, delayed gratification, and long-term vision, a deep internal conflict is created. On one side, a brain shaped by thousands of years of scarcity. On the other, a society that demands performance, productivity, and self-control. And in the middle, trying to force yourself to be disciplined through motivation alone. This video exists to dismantle that illusion, not to shame you, not to push you harder, but to show you something far more powerful: how a properly configured brain makes discipline effortless. Why your brain resists discipline. To understand discipline, you must first understand evolution. For most of human history, life was unstable and dangerous. Food was scarce. Energy had to be preserved. Effort without immediate payoff could mean death. So the brain adapted it and learned to avoid unnecessary effort, seek fast rewards, conserve energy whenever possible. This survival logic became deeply embedded in our nervous system. That same brain now lives inside you. So when you choose rest over effort, distraction over focus, comfort over growth, this is not failure. It is biological continuity. Your brain does not ask, what will benefit me in 5 years? What keeps me safe and comfortable right now? This is why the couch feels more attractive than the gym. Social media feels easier than study. Short-term pleasure overrides long-term vision. Neuroscience calls this cognitive ease, the brain's automatic tendency to choose the path that requires the least energy. And here's the key insight: the brain is not rational. It is economical. It chooses efficiency over meaning, speed over depth, certainty over potential. Trying to force discipline through willpower means fighting this mechanism directly. And willpower always loses over time. Fatigue accumulates. Motivation fades. Autopilot takes over. And autopilot always chooses the easiest path. This is why most people don't fail once. They fail gradually, then slowly return to old patterns. Not because they are weak, but because they are fighting biology instead of working with it. The illusion of willpower. Society glorifies willpower. We admire people who push through, who resist temptation, who stay focused no matter what. But neuroscience reveals something uncomfortable. Willpower is limited. It behaves like a battery. It drains with stress, decisions, emotions, and fatigue. Every choice you make throughout the day reduces it. And when willpower is depleted, the brain defaults to habit. This is why people eat poorly at night, skip workouts when tired, procrastinate after stressful days. Not because they don't care, but because the control system is offline. James Clear explains this clearly. If you rely on motivation, you are already losing. Highly consistent people are not constantly resisting temptation. They are rarely tempted in the first place, Because they don't live in environments that demand willpower. They design lives where the right behavior is the default. This changes the entire conversation. Discipline is no longer about force. It becomes about architecture. Environment, the invisible hand of behavior. Most people believe behavior is internal, but behavior is mostly contextual. Your environment is constantly shaping your actions, silently. Think about this. If your phone is within reach, you use it more. If junk food is visible, you eat it more. If distractions are present, focus collapses. This is not coincidence. It is choice architecture. The brain follows what is closest, most visible, most accessible. This means discipline is rarely a moral decision. It is a spatial one. Let's take a simple example: discipline at the gym. Person A, clothes hidden, shoes far away, no plan, phone nearby. Person B, clothes ready, shoes visible, time scheduled, music prepared. Who looks more disciplined? In reality, who made the better decisions before the moment of action? Disciplined people win in advance. They remove friction from good habits and add friction to bad ones. They don't ask, will I feel like doing this? How do I make this unavoidable? Habit stacking and neural momentum. Your brain already runs on automatic loops. Wake up, phone. Sit down, scroll. Finish meal, dessert. These loops exist without effort. Habit stacking uses this structure. Instead of creating discipline from nothing, you attach discipline to what already exists. After brushing teeth, stretch. After coffee, write. After locking doors, set intention. This reduces resistance dramatically. Why? Because the hardest part of any action is starting. Once movement begins, momentum takes over. Small actions create identity shifts. 2 minutes repeated daily is more powerful than 1 hour done once. Discipline grows through continuity, not intensity. This is how focused minds are built. One of the most common questions people ask when they decide to change their lives is this: how long does it take to reprogram the brain? How many days until discipline becomes natural? When does it stop feeling hard? And the honest answer is, it depends, but not in the way most people think. For years, popular culture repeated the idea that it takes 21 days to form a habit. This number became almost mythical. But neuroscience has shown us something far more precise and far more interesting. The brain does not change by calendar time. It changes by repetition, emotional engagement, and consistency. According to studies from University College London, habit formation does not follow a fixed number. On average, it takes between 66 and 90 days for a behavior to become automatic. But here's the crucial detail most people miss. Automatic does not mean effortless. It means less resistance. In the first days, every action feels heavy. The brain is alert. Old circuits are still dominant. Between days 7 and 14, something subtle begins to shift. Neural pathways start stabilizing. The brain becomes familiar with the pattern. Between days 21 and 30, identity friction decreases. You no longer feel like someone trying to be disciplined. You start feeling like someone who does this. And between days 60 and 90, the behavior becomes part of your baseline. The brain no longer questions it. It executes. This process is called neuroplasticity. Your brain physically rewires itself based on what you repeat. Every time you choose focus over distraction, every time you act even without motivation, you are strengthening specific neural circuits. And here is the most important insight. The brain does not respond to intensity. It responds to consistency. 1 hour once a week changes nothing. 10 minutes every day changes everything. This is why discipline is not born in dramatic moments. It is built quietly, repetitively, almost invisibly. Discipline in Oriental cultures, a different mindset. Now let's look at something even deeper. In many Eastern cultures, especially Japanese, Chinese, and Zen traditions, discipline is not seen as punishment or self-control. It is seen as self-respect. In Japan, the concept of shugyo refers to disciplined practice as a path of inner refinement. Not to achieve something, but to become someone. Daily repetition is not questioned. Routine is not boring. It is sacred. In Zen monasteries, monks repeat the same actions every day. Waking at the same hour. Cleaning the same floors. Sitting in silence. Practicing mindfulness. Not because they enjoy every moment, but because repetition trains the mind to become stable. Discipline is not emotional. It is structural. In Chinese philosophy, influenced by Confucianism and Taoism, discipline is about alignment with natural order. You don't fight reality. You move with it. Small, consistent actions are valued more than bursts of effort. This mindset removes internal conflict. There is no daily negotiation. There is no drama. There is only practice. And this is the key difference between Western and Eastern views on discipline. The West tries to conquer the self. The East tries to train the self. One creates resistance. The other creates flow. When discipline becomes part of daily rhythm, like brushing teeth or breathing, it no longer feels heavy. It becomes grounding. Discipline as neural training, not force. From a neurobiological perspective, discipline is simply repeated neural firing. Neurons that fire together, wire together. Each repetition strengthens the signal. Each skipped action weakens it. This is why cultures that emphasize ritual, routine, and repetition create calmer, more focused individuals. They are not more motivated. Their brains are simply better trained. And here's something powerful. The brain does not care why you repeat something. It only cares that you repeat it. So even if you don't feel inspired, even if you don't feel aligned, the act itself is doing the work. This is why Eastern philosophies say, do the practice and the mind will follow. Not the opposite. How long until you feel different? Most people quit too early. They stop at day 10, day 15, day 20, exactly when the brain is beginning to change. They assume, this isn't working. But what's actually happening is, the old identity is losing dominance, and that feels uncomfortable. Discomfort is not failure. It is rewiring in progress. If you can stay consistent for 30 days, resistance decreases. 60 days, identity shifts. 90 days, behavior stabilizes. Discipline stops feeling forced. Productivity becomes natural. Focus becomes your default state. Not because you became stronger, but because your brain adapted. The final truth of this part: reprogramming the brain is not about speed. It is about staying long enough for the nervous system to trust the pattern. Eastern cultures understood this centuries ago. Neuroscience is only now confirming it. Discipline is not something you turn on. It is something you train into existence. Slowly, quietly, relentlessly. Procrastination is poor design. Procrastination is often misunderstood. Most people believe it is a problem of laziness, lack of ambition, or poor character. But psychology and neuroscience tell a very different story. Procrastination is not a lack of desire to act. It is a conflict inside the brain. At the neurological level, procrastination occurs when two systems compete for control. On one side, the prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for planning, focus, self-regulation, and long-term goals. On the other, the limbic system, the emotional brain, designed to seek comfort, safety, and immediate reward. When a task feels unclear, demanding, boring, or emotionally uncomfortable, the limbic system activates. It signals threat. Not a physical threat, but a psychological one. The brain interprets effort, uncertainty, and delayed reward as forms of stress. In response, it looks for relief. And relief, in the modern world, is everywhere. Scrolling, checking messages, watching videos, switching tasks. These behaviors activate dopamine pathways almost instantly. And this is where procrastination becomes neurologically reinforced. The dopamine trap. Dopamine is not the pleasure chemical. It is the anticipation chemical. Every time your brain expects a reward, dopamine is released. Social media, notifications, and novelty are engineered to exploit this system. They offer immediate feedback, predictable reward, zero effort. Compared to that, tasks like studying, writing, training, or planning feel vague and unrewarding. The brain does a simple calculation. Why invest energy now for a reward later, when reward is available instantly? So procrastination is not irrational. It is neurologically efficient. Each time you choose the easy relief, the brain learns. This works. The pathway strengthens. Over time, procrastination becomes automatic, not intentional. Procrastination and emotional avoidance. From a psychological perspective, procrastination is also a form of emotional regulation. People don't procrastinate because they don't care. They procrastinate because the task triggers discomfort. That discomfort can be fear of failure, fear of judgment, perfectionism, identity conflict. Avoiding the task temporarily reduces that discomfort. The brain learns to associate delay with relief. But relief is short-lived. What follows is guilt, anxiety, and self-criticism. This creates a feedback loop. Delay relief. Relief guilt. Stress more avoidance. The problem deepens, not because of lack of discipline, but because the system is poorly designed. What procrastination does to the brain over time. Chronic procrastination reshapes neural patterns. Repeated avoidance weakens the prefrontal cortex's control over behavior. Emotional impulses gain dominance. This leads to reduced attention span, lower tolerance for effort, increased stress response, difficulty initiating tasks. The brain becomes conditioned to escape, not engage. And the most dangerous part? Identity begins to form around this pattern. I'm not disciplined. I always delay. I can't focus. These beliefs reinforce the behavior neurologically. Why design solves procrastination? Because procrastination is not about morality. It's about friction and reward. When tasks are too large, too demanding, too emotionally loaded, the brain avoids them. Design fixes this by reducing task size, clarifying the next action, adding immediate reward, removing distractions. This rebalances control toward the prefrontal cortex. Action becomes easier than avoidance. The core insight: procrastination is not something you fight. It is something you outgrow through better design. When the environment supports focus, when habits are structured, when starting is easy and reward is present, the brain stops resisting. Action flows. Discipline emerges naturally. Discipline as identity. The deepest transformation is identity-based. Every action reinforces who you believe you are. I am someone who follows through. I am someone who trains. I am someone who focuses. Discipline becomes a side effect, not force. Structure, not struggle. Alignment. Stop fighting your brain. Start designing your life. You don't need more motivation. You need better systems. So ask yourself, what is one habit you can redesign today? Remember, discipline is consistency that expands possibilities. The bridge that connects you to your highest version. All of us carry extraordinary capacities waiting to be explored, simply awaiting our decision to become everything we are capable of being. Your brain is a powerful machine, and when it is configured with discipline and resilience, results begin to emerge in every area of your life. Comment below, because action, even small, is identity in motion. And if this content expanded how you see discipline, subscribe. Here, we don't push harder. We configure smarter.